I'm Shelley Foster. These are today's headlining stories. We are the world, we are the future. Hot Hollywood stars brave the freezing cold. And Lionel Richie tries to make a valid point.
God, to help people that cannot help themselves at this point. And the rebuild...
Oh, never mind. Hello. First up, the good thing about being born on Valentine's Day is that you always get a card. Yes, the postman must think I'm a right old hussy. The bad thing, of course, is that restaurants get really busy. Oh well, yin and yang. The big L word was definitely in the air last night at the London premiere of chick flick Valentine's Day, and our romantic Alison was lapping up the atmosphere.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Who wants to chat to Ashton Kutcher and Topher Grace too? Me! Well, now may be our best chance as they're both headed here for Valentine's Day!
It's the new flick from Gary Marshall, the man who gave us Pretty Woman. Bringing new meaning to the term heavyweight cast, it stars these two, plus Julia Roberts, Bradley Cooper, Anne Hathaway, and Jessica's Biel and Alba, to name but a few. All trying to get through the supposedly most romantic time of the year.
Yes, have another bottle of wine.
Doubt they'd ever have these problems in real life, though.
Have you ever had a February the 14th disaster?
You know, when I haven't been in love, I've avoided it.
Every year. All I've had is February 14th disasters.
Aww. Well, if we know Mr. Kutcher, his V-Day is bound to include a Twitter message, unless his other half has a say in it.
I don't know if I'm banned. I think I'll probably send a tweet or two. We'll see.
To wife to me more, I bet. Okay, so he's officially taken. Grey's Anatomy's McDreamy and McSteamy didn't show. I've got one chance left for a celebrity date.
This is cheesy, but Topher, will you be my premier Valentine?
No! I will not be your... No, absolutely.
Move over, Anne. You've got some competition.
Amazing.
Well, that's Alison's date sorted. Meanwhile, it wasn't just love that was on everyone's minds last night, as the stars paid tribute to the sad news of British fashion designer Alexander McQueen's death.
Well, we just found out on the way over here, and I never knew him personally, but I know what a visionary he is and how brilliant his designs are. So our heart goes out to all of his friends and colleagues, and it's a sad loss.
I did, and yes, I have. I did hear about it. Yeah, I mean, it's horrible. He was so young.
Just completely shocked. I mean, the day before his mother's funeral, somebody who takes their own life. I mean, he's going to, there's a legacy left. He was an amazing designer, an extraordinary man, and I think we're all in shock, to be honest.
I think being a true artist made him a good designer, being someone who's constantly inspired, constantly redefining his art, not being in the box, not just designing what he thinks will sell or the hot color of the season. When everybody was designing gray because the economy is bad and they wanted to kind of portray that, he was putting beautiful colors and prints out there. So he's someone that kept true to his own spirit and his own identity as a designer. And he was always a step ahead of the game. You never went to a show and kind of saw what you expected. You were always surprised, and in a good way.
He was just an extraordinary designer. I mean, he was one of the greatest designers of our time, and it's just he will be sadly missed in the fashion industry a week before Fashion Week as well. I'm sure there'll be a lot of wonderful things being said about him.
More tributes poured in from fashion representatives and the music world alike.
It's the most ghastly shock. I was a huge fan of his work. I thought he was a remarkable talent. Whenever possible, I bought things of his, and I think it is a very, very sad piece of news.
Exceptionally talented. I'm a huge fan. I've only just started out as a designer myself, and to see somebody so inspirational, I mean, half my wardrobe is dedicated to him, so very, very, very sad day, of course.
A very talented man. Our paths had crossed a couple of times, and yeah, really, really sad news, and just thinking of his friends and family. It's very sad.
He was a unique originator. He derived everything purely from his own thought. There are very rare that designers are like that. It's sort of maybe Coco Chanel, Christian Dior, Vivienne Westwood. In the world of art, people like Isigoni that designed the Mini, Damien Hirst in art. So he was in that kind of pantheon that was very special.
Next up, it was a track originally written by the late Michael Jackson and the very much alive and kicking Lionel Richie to raise funds for Africa. Now, 25 years later, the song is re-released to raise money for Haiti, and a whole host of stars have lent their voices and support for the cause. Here's legendary producer Quincy Jones and Lionel Richie.
25th anniversary, #1.
And that's not enough either.
No.
It's Haiti.
It just happened. Divine guidance. If you want to, if you want to get into
it's
the
not
real,
an accident.
It's not an accident. Things happen. I mean, you know, but it's very strange to say when you deal with divine intervention. But what happens a lot of times is, you know, we're now at 250 some odd thousand people. You couldn't get one person to recognize Haiti 3 months ago. It was just business as usual, be poor, and if you died on the street, you died on the street. Now the entire world's focused on Haiti. But we had to lose 250,000 people to do it. But now we can't walk away from it. Now we have to pay attention to it. Everyone in that room wanted to be there. Whether, I mean, the passion of the job at hand or just reliving history one more time. You know, it was an amazing combination of the two.
I know what you're thinking. You want to hear the new version. Well, okay, here it is. The original recording raised more than $30 million for food relief in Africa when it was released in 1985. Lionel Richie hopes a new recording for the people of Haiti will raise even more.
Now the entire world's focused on Haiti. But we had to lose 250,000 people to do it. But now we can't walk away from it. Now we have to pay attention to it.
Quincy Jones is urging people to buy the single and make a donation to the relief effort.
Don't download to donate.
Give it up, whatever you've got, you know,
yeah.
to help people that cannot help themselves at this point, you know, and to rebuild the country.
We never did find out what Lionel was trying to say. Oh well. Next up, Alexandra Burke went to Haiti to see it all for herself and to give a special boy a great big hug.
Oh, he's smiling, which means he's happy. Kiki, I saw Kiki on the documentary that I watched on the plane over here and seen that his sister helped him, and you know, it's amazing that I'm actually getting to touch them and that they're still here, and you know what, they're happy. And I think that's the most important thing, is that you can see this family smiling, and I think that's so important to see they're glowing with health and with happiness. Especially Kiki.
Next up, maybe you're heading to the cinema this weekend. On a date for Valentines, perhaps? Or just you and your trusty tub of popcorn that will always be there and on time and never let you down and make you feel sad. Well, here's Movie Buff, anyway.
Coming up on Movie Buff, love is in the air for an all-star lineup in Valentine's Day. Move over Daniel Radcliffe & Co. There's a new adventure coming our way in Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Plus, Colin Firth's best shot at an Oscar. We take a look at A Single Man. Bringing new meaning to the term heavyweight cast, it stars these two, plus Julia Roberts, Bradley Cooper, Anne Hathaway, and Jessica's Biel and Alba, to name but a few. All trying to get through the supposedly most romantic time of the year.
Yes, let's have another battle, Mike.
Bet there was a fight on set for the biggest trailer.
No, it's just the opposite. Everyone wants to be cool because no one wants to be the diva, you know? So like everybody is cooler than they probably normally are in their own movies.
Did I mention it includes 2 of Grey's Anatomy's finest?
There's McDreamy and a McSteamy in this film.
I mean, there's a McEverything in this film. There are more beautiful men. I don't think anyone can really handle it.
Ms. Albert plays Morley, who goes out with Reed.
Do you have any idea what it would be like at work today if I wore that thing? I mean, people will be asking me, where'd you get the big ring? You know, how many bridesmaids? How did he do it?
Just one of the intertwining stories from the legendary director who gave us Pretty Woman. And for Ashton, that was part of the appeal.
No, I think it was just working with Gary Marshall. I mean, he's so special, and he's such a special, beautiful man with such a giving, caring heart. It's so nice to be around him.
Sadly, it's a case of over-egging the Hollywood pudding. There's a bit too much going on. Some of the big names also feel a bit miscast. What's more, despite this being a rom-com, there was a distinct lack of laughing going on in the screening I saw this in.
Oh my gosh, I totally love him.
And I'm crazy about her.
Sabine wrote his number on my hand.
There you have it, young love, full of promise, full of hope, ignorant of reality.
While Cupid has drawn back his bow for another blockbuster, looks like he may have missed.
Okay, I'm gonna go now, okay.
Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
Get in! Come on, come on! In the car, let's go! Keys! Oh, got the keys!
Come on!
Drive!
Go!
Okay, they're coming! Oh, you're gonna wanna drive! I got this! Go!
Now, Percy Jackson is the story of a boy who discovers that he has special powers. And so, with the help of his 2 best friends, who also have unique skills, he goes on a mission to defeat the ultimate baddie. Sound like a familiar plot to you? Remind you maybe of a certain Harry Potter series. Not only that, the genius behind the first 2 wizard movies, Christopher Columbus, is the director of this new fantasy too. But Chris says that his latest project, Percy Jackson, is nothing like the Potter series.
Potter's more about wizardry. This is Greek mythology, and I really would not honestly want to have gotten involved with a picture that was similar, because for me, I just had not seen this film before, and that was the real reason I wanted to do it.
You're half mortal, half god.
My father's Poseidon,
God of the seas.
Your blood is special.
Okay, so the plot is all linked into Greek mythology, as Percy Jackson is actually the son of Greek god of the sea Poseidon, played by Kevin McKidd. Now, he's not the only famous face to take on the persona of a god, as there are loads of them in this picture. Uma Thurman plays Medusa, while Rosario Dawson takes on Persephone, and Steve Coogan is Hades. Pierce Brosnan stars too as a senator.
I had to get onto fluorescent green painter's stilts and put on the blue tights. You have to be a bold man to do such a thing, and especially to walk out onto a set with 200 young people who are very buffed and kind of eager to show them strut their stuff, and you're supposed to be this wise, bold hero.
Based on a popular series of children's books, it looks like Percy Jackson is here to stay. So expect to see a lot more of these 3 pretty faces. That's Logan Lerman, Alexandra Daddario, and Brandon T. Jackson.
One of the most notable fashion designers in the last 20 years, shining as a Gucci designer and more notably at the moment with his own ranges, Tom Ford, the man who encapsulates cool, is now a film director. It's annoying, isn't it, how talented some people are? But as you would expect, the picture is beautiful, flowing piece of imagery and music that above anything is a visual masterpiece that on DVD release will no doubt come in a chiffon or silk sleeve. Charting the last day of a bereaved gay man played by Colin Firth, A Single Man is the story of George, who, struggling to deal with the death of his male partner, is meticulously planning his suicide and coming across people from his past, present and perhaps future. He has been criticised for over-designing the film, but to be honest, that sounds like a film reviewer's easy outlet for a backhanded remark. But credit at last for Firth, a stalwart of British film, and despite his fears about awards and their importance, the accolades are helping both him and the film get the justice it deserves.
One could argue for a very, very, very long time about to what extent they're healthy and to what extent they're not. But they've helped this film. It's minute, And it's only grown through buzz and through festivals and through this sort of thing. And I think as long as you're not creating a false emerald city at the end of it all, then I think it's all good.
That's it for today. Now, obviously, you don't have my address, and the Valentine's card might not reach me in time. So you can leave your loving messages below. But be nice. It is my birthday. Have a lovely Valentine's Day. See you Monday.